Have you ever been decluttering and thought, I just don't think this is right for me. I just can't do it. Maybe I'm cursed. I will never be able to declutter and I will just have to live with this extra stuff my whole life. Now let's get into some common scenarios and how to overcome them. This video is sponsored by the Simplify Your Home course, and I will talk more about that in a little bit. But if this is your first time here, my name is Robyn. I help overwhelmed people simplify their lives through organization, productivity, and creating an environment where they can thrive. Now grab your tea and let's go. So you've decided you're going to make a change. You are going to declutter. You're going to get rid of that excess stuff that is holding you back, taking time away from your family, interfering with your creativity, your productivity, your peace. So you start decluttering. But soon you run into some problems. In fact, over and over again, you run into these problems. One common problem is decluttering storage rooms. Oh, the drama that can occur in a storage room. You're motivated, but you just keep coming across items and keep thinking, I might be able to use this one day. The dreaded just in case items. These are things that you are holding on to just in case you can use them one day. The thing is, very rarely do we use these items. I mean, I'm just guessing, but I would say it's less than 5% of the time. And let's be honest, it's probably less than 1% of the time. Now, the problem is people often decide to keep things. They just can't bear the idea of decluttering them on the off chance that they might need them one day. Now, I have a couple of thoughts on this. Number one, you can always consider lending and borrowing. Certain things you just don't need, you don't use them all the time, you may use them occasionally. I always talk about my prize bolt cutters that I bought for only $20 to make a trellis. I don't use these all that often, but every once in a while we find a use for them around our property. Now I have these, and if any of my friends or family want to borrow them, we have them at the ready and I am happy to lend them out. But maybe there is something that a family member has that they want to lend you so that you don't have to buy it. Now, just make sure that you keep good records of who has what and return things in better condition than before. And also have things that you can lend out as well. Once we lent out a pressure washer to a friend and it came back in terrible condition. It was in such good condition before and it came back in terrible condition. So just be really careful. Also, keep in mind the 20/20 rule, which I absolutely love. And I know I talk about it all the time. Ryan Nicodemus from The Minimalist talks about it. And basically, if you can replace something for less than $20 in less than 20 minutes, then consider decluttering it. A lot of people comment that they don't think that this is right or appropriate, but the thing is, consider how often you're actually using these things. Not very often. Usually you're not. Remember, it's probably 1% of the time. So yeah, it may seem wasteful, but for the most part, you're wasting your space by having all of this extra stuff around. If you donate things and somebody else can use it, and maybe you have to repurpose or repurchase the odd thing, ultimately it's up to you. If $20 is too much, I get that. I totally do. Lower it to $5. The kitchen is another area that can cause some issues. We can have a lot of things in there. You might have a lot more than you need and you don't even realize just how much you have. And then when you're decluttering it, you're just like, oh my gosh, this is just a monster. There's just so much to do. Have you ever been cooking and thought, which of my 12 spatulas will I use? No, I bet you haven't. You have your favorites, just like you have your favorite pot and your favorite burner. The joys of being an adult. If you haven't used something in the last year or so, you probably don't need it. So come on, let it go. Another thing people struggle with is appliances, small appliances. Maybe you love your rice cooker and you use it all the time. I know I use this example a lot, but the thing is, there are people who love it and they use it, and I think that's great. But if you don't use it, I don't know if you should keep it. You probably shouldn't. Maybe you have an Instant Pot or something else that can do the same thing. Maybe you just always make rice on the stove. Maybe consider decluttering the rice cooker. The thing is, we can feel like it is so hard to declutter things because we have spent money on them. And if you think about it, that doesn't really make any sense. Yes, maybe you spent money on things and you regret it. But remember that the next time you are shopping, it's what you are buying that is contributing to your clutter. Now, a huge part of simplifying and minimizing your life is making the right purchasing decisions. I don't think you should punish yourself by keeping things that are no longer serving you in your house. Just let them go and make better choices in the future. The same thing goes for gifts. A lot of people also say, I can't declutter gifts. I think you can. If someone gives you something and it is no longer serving you, I think you should declutter it. There may be the odd person who is mad at you for that, but I don't know if they should be. Do you really want to give somebody something and have them holding on to it even though they don't really like it and always thinking, well, Robyn gave me this, but I have to keep it because I don't want her to be mad at me? Probably not. I certainly would not want somebody keeping something that I gave them. You decide what works for you. Now, before I get to my last cursed decluttering pitfall, let me tell you about the Simplify Your Home course. Now, this is a whole home decluttering course. There are 23 plus pre-recorded lessons, but I will also be doing live coaching sessions for my students each week. There will be a tour of my house. And not only do we talk about decluttering, but we also talk about why you have clutter in the first place, why it is so hard to part with things, and why clutter is bad for you. We'll then move into my proven decluttering system and how to declutter every room in your house, starting with the easiest and then moving to the more challenging rooms. We also will tackle dealing with family, kids, and sentimental items. And the last module covers moving forward, shopping, like we just talked about, and maintenance decluttering. This is a true A to Z, because I'm Canadian, A to Z course. There are also 2 great bonus courses, a simplified kitchen course to set it up for maximum functionality, and the simplified kids course, so you can get your kids right on track early. Now, registration is only open for a short time, so head over to minimalisthome.ca/simplify or click the link below to register today. Have you ever been decluttering your office and thought, oh man, paperwork? It is no wonder. Clutter ultimately is decisions that we haven't made, and paper is so frustrating because it literally is so many decisions, and we often just don't know what is worth keeping and what isn't. Each piece of paper is literally a decision that you need to make. But don't give up. It is so good to get your paper under control. One thing though, you need to check in with your own country or government on how long to keep tax documents or other important items. In Canada, we, last I checked, have to keep our tax documents for 6 years. What should you keep? Well, you should keep your wills, your power of attorney, property deeds, life insurance, pension plans. Keep these in a really safe place. There are other important things like birth certificates, divorce, child custody orders. I keep all of mine in a binder with different sections. What should you declutter? I say declutter anything that can be replaced or is available online or that you don't need anymore. Now, you can also scan things that you're not sure about and store them in a folder on your phone or computer. You can also download a lot of things and store them on a file in your computer as well if you're concerned about, some system going down or something. But the less paper you actually have, the better. So for more info on the easy way to go minimalist, check out this video here, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.